a joy to be with each other. As we enter into this graduation ceremony with emotions like relief and pride moving through us, we acknowledge how years of cultivating mind and heart have come to fruition today. With awe and wonder, we celebrate your growth, graduates, your confidence and resiliency as you have navigated this beautiful, heartbreaking, unjust, yet hopeful world with integrity and courage, finding shelter in each other, this community, and here by the mountains and under the bright blue Colorado sky. In this present moment, having come full circle, the past, present, and future are held together as we lift up how the liberal arts has nurtured and empowered you to bravely name and claim your voice, rooted in a vision bigger than yourself that is ever calling you to engage the world with tenacity and compassion. May we be present to the gift of this day, the gift of transformation and education. And may what gives us strength, what we hold as sacred, be with us in the celebration. May it be so.
Amitakiapi, Taya Wachianke, Nawa Akaduru, Dara Jikstihu, Daraku, Tiri. Hello, relatives, it's good to see you. Over the last 4 years, you have heard that the Pikes Peak region, the land upon which Colorado College exists, is the ancestral homeland of the Nuchu, or the Southern Ute Indian tribe, the Ute Mountain Ute tribe, and the Ute Indian tribe of the Uinta and Ouray Reservation. Other nations with historical, cultural, and spiritual ties with this land are the Hacendayan, or the Hickory Apache, now in Dulce, New Mexico, Hinana Aina, or Arapaho, the Northern Arapaho on the Wind River Reservation in Wyoming, and Southern Arapaho in Western Oklahoma, Sissiska, or Cheyenne, the Northern Cheyenne in Montana, and the Southern Cheyenne in Oklahoma, Nimina, or Comanche, in southwestern Oklahoma, Koigu, or Kiowa, in southwestern Oklahoma, and my nation, the Pawnee, or Pawnee, in Oklahoma. I will not speak of genocide, forced relocation, colonization, assimilation, boarding schools, land theft, the missing and murdered Indigenous people relatives crisis, or generational trauma. Rather, I will emphasize Indigenous resilience through the work of tribal nations who continue to speak and teach our ancestral languages to new generations, practice our spirituality, legal since 1978, and maintain our distinct identity and traditions while evolving with national and global events and influences. Acknowledging the land is Indigenous protocol. Throughout history and even today, acknowledgement of land exists between the diverse tribes and nations. It was and is a matter of offering respect. As you travel across Turtle Island, I encourage you to learn the historical and contemporary narratives of Indigenous people of the U.S. and your personal connection to those stories. Shout out to the Oto Missouri, removed from Nebraska and Kansas, now headquartered in Oklahoma, the Muskogee Nation, removed to Oklahoma during the Trail of Tears from Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina, the Yankton Dakota, from the eastern half of North and South Dakota, moved onto a reservation in South Dakota, and the Navajo Nation, or Dene, who settled onto reservations in Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah after the forced long walk. Congratulations, Colorado College, class of 2026. Tunkashira Wokia, Nachikida, Mitakoye Oyasin.
Please be seated. Good morning to our graduates, to your families who got you here, and to the faculty who guided you along the way. Thank you for sharing this day with us. Last week, I delivered a commencement address at my graduate alma mater. And while it was a great honor to sit on the stage and celebrate everyone who walked past, those graduates have nothing on CC's class of 2026. This class has spent 4 years building not just knowledge, but discipline and discernment, learning how to think clearly even when the information is contested, how to stay open when conversation is hard, how to build something worthwhile on ground that feels like it's shifting. And these qualities, the characters you've honed and earned, will be essential on the road ahead. We stand on the eve of America's 250th birthday, the semi-quincentennial, July 4th, 2026. At this moment in our democracy, such a historic milestone is a reminder that if we don't know how we got here, we don't know where we're going. History is a survival skill. The times in American life when democracy held, when it bent but did not break, were because enough people understood the full weight of what they were pushing against. People who knew history not as mythology, but as evidence. Think about what it means to be alive and an adult at this milestone. Most generations inherit a country mid-sentence. You are here at the end of a chapter 250 years in the making, and the next chapter is one you will co-write. The choices your generation makes in the next decade, even in the next year, will determine what history records about this era, what we valued, what we defended, where we stumbled, and what we let go. I know you're tired, we are all tired, of unprecedented times. But when everything feels unprecedented, that is not a reason for despair. It is a sign that you exist in one of the rare moments when the course of the world actually changes. They are few, and the people inside them rarely know in real time that they are the ones who will change it. 250 years is a testament, and it is also a reckoning. Have we kept the promise of our nation? And more urgently, who will keep it going forward? You have to answer those questions whether you want to or not. Such is the gravity of this hour, but also the gift. Those questions and that gift require something of you. I've been turning over questions of purpose about what it means to speak into a moment this large. And I keep returning to a phrase I first encountered as an undergraduate. 4 words in Latin, vox clamantis in deserto, a voice crying out in the wilderness. This phrase resonates with me not because of its religious roots, but because it speaks to agency, to fortitude, to purpose, even in the face of something overwhelming. The wilderness is vast, but it is not a place of defeat. It is where we are compelled to prepare for the unexpected. It is where clarity is found, doubts are conquered, and where the unnecessary falls away. The wilderness is also where the most important change begins, not in the centers of power, but at the edges. Our nation's history bears this out. The voices that changed this country did not come from conventional places in conventional ways. The American experiment was itself an act of audacious speech, a declaration, a constitution, a Bill of Rights anchored by freedom of expression. And when you think of those touchstones and those institutions that our nation reveres, it can be tempting to treat them as achievements beyond reach. The lore of our founding fathers may leave the impression that they forged a nation from the wisdom of decades. But on the 4th of July, 1776, James Madison was 25. Alexander Hamilton was 21. James Monroe was 18. Crossing the centuries, we see the same. John Lewis was 19 when he led the Nashville lunch counter sit-ins. David Hogg was 17 when he co-founded March for Our Lives. This is a pattern. From Deb Holland and Sharice Davids to Emma Gonzalez and Justin Jones and Justin Pearson to Yara Shahidi and Maxwell Frost, American democracy continues to be spoken into greater existence by the very people whose stories and histories go untold. The 250-year arc of this country is in many ways the story of who gets a voice and who fights to be heard. And you all hold more power than you know. Like every leader I've just named, you have learned not just how to speak, but what is worth saying. CC's block plan itself is an act of focus and intention. You were trained not to dabble, but to go deep. That depth is what gives voice authority. Your graduating class has an amazing breadth and depth of knowledge, from computer science, classics, anthropology, dance, economics, geology, physics, psychology, just to name a few. You are scientists, artists, humanists, athletes, entrepreneurs, each with a distinct and necessary voice. In our lifetimes, every one of us will be asked to use our voice and find our power to change the world, to speak with conviction. The world will not make this easy. The media landscape is fractured. Algorithms sort us into echo chambers. The loudest voices are often not the wisest. There's a pull to shout them down without substance, or just as dangerous, to decide nothing can cut through the noise and be silent. We don't need more noise, nor can we risk more silence. Vox Clamantis is disciplined, purposeful, informed speech, speaking at times and ways often unbeknownst to most, using your voice not for applause, but for impact. We must be honest with ourselves about what's at stake right now: our democratic norms, our civil rights, our humanity. Three things at the heart of everything we hold dear, and it is up to us to defend them. This timing might feel unfair. We're supposed to be hard-launching happy lives, not fighting for the foundation beneath them. But here we are. The work of democracy is often tedious, thankless, frustrating. There are no shortcuts. AI can't fix it. But your years at CC have prepared you, have strengthened what was already in you: your intellectual honesty, your willingness to tackle complex problems, your capacity for serious, industrious thought, and your drive to relentlessly pursue a worthy goal. It's time to put that to work. As I always told my students, I don't care what you think. I care why you think it. Know what you believe and why. Do the hard work of forming genuine views, not inherited ones, and then speak with humility. The wilderness teaches us we don't have all the answers. Listen as an act of voice, because real dialogue requires it. Speak with courage. There will be rooms where your voice is inconvenient. Speak anyway. And do so knowing the difference between intent and impact. Freedom of expression is not freedom from consequences. Speak with compassion. Everyone has been through something. The battle is not yours alone, it is ours. And finally, a call to hone and amplify your voice as you go forth. Speak together. Vox Clamantis and Deserto is about a single voice. I challenge you to unify your voices and together sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. More than a birthday, July 4th can be a rededication. Every generation must re-ratify in its own words and actions the promise of whom we can become. Across your years at CC, we've given you the space to question, to fail, to build, to become your best selves. That was our promise to you. Now you make your promise to us and to the world and step into the fullness of who you are. Claim your space. Your diploma is not a period. It's the first word of a very long sentence of a remarkable chapter. I have faith in you. This is your time to find your wilderness, to raise your voice, because our democracy is listening. Congratulations, Colorado College, class of 2026.
Good morning, graduates, families, faculty, staff, and friends of Colorado College. To the class of 2026, congratulations. Today is a celebration of achievement, but also of transformation. You arrived here as students. You leave as adults, entrusted with shaping communities, institutions, families, businesses, ideas, and ultimately the future itself. President Whitaker just spoke beautifully about voice, courage, and the responsibility that comes with living in consequential times. I'd like to build on that with one simple idea. A meaningful life requires risk. Not reckless risk, not performative risk, but the kind of risk that growth always demands. Over the past few months, I've been reflecting on a line I recently read. When you don't understand, lean in more. Don't run from the ideas that make you uncomfortable, run toward them. That struck me, because it captures something essential, both about a Colorado College education and adulthood. The people who grow the most in life are usually the ones that are willing to be uncomfortable the longest. You have to risk failure to accomplish something meaningful. You have to risk criticism to lead. You have to risk disappointment to love people deeply. You have to risk uncertainty to discover who you really are. And perhaps most importantly, you have to risk being wrong in order to keep learning. That's increasingly more difficult in a world that rewards certainty, speed, outrage, performance. But CC taught you something different. It taught you to think deeply before speaking loudly. It taught you to wrestle with complexity rather than to avoid it. It taught you how to sit across from people who see the world differently and still remain engaged in the conversation. That matters more than ever. Because the world you're entering does not need more noise. It needs people with judgment, with courage, with humility, with intellectual honesty, and with the discipline to keep showing up even when things become difficult. The truth is, many people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. They stay close to certainty, close to approval, close to safety. But extraordinary lives rarely happen inside of emotional comfort zones, and neither does leadership. So my challenge to you today is simple. Do not shrink your lives to fit your fears. Lean into the hard conversation. Lean into unfamiliar opportunity. Lean into service. Lean into responsibility. Lean into purpose. And when life eventually places you in your wilderness, and it will, remember that growth often begins there. So class of 2026, your voice matters. Your character matters. Your willingness to engage rather than withdraw matters. We believe in you. We are proud of you, and we cannot wait to see what you build next. And so on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I say once again, congratulations.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let all rejoice in praise. Thy is the rising stars. Let every sound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dawn past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought.
It is now my pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker. Dee Bradley Baker, class of 1986, is one of Hollywood's most celebrated voice actors with a career of more than 30 years across television, film, and video games, as well as recognition as a twice Emmy-nominated performer. Baker earned his Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy at Colorado College with extensive study in German, plus a wide-ranging mix of biology and art courses. He also spent much of his time at CC in choir, singing, and on stage, an early foundation for his performance career. Baker is a passionate advocate for the practical power of a liberal arts education in changing the world. He is known for voicing Captain Rex and the clone troopers in Star Wars, The Clone Wars, all 5 members of Star Wars, The Bad Batch, Perry the Platypus in Phineas and Ferb, Klaus in American Dad, and Squilliam in SpongeBob SquarePants. His game credits include Gravemind in Halo, Varkus in Destiny, and Hammond/Wrecking Ball in Overwatch. He also mentors aspiring voice actors through his free website, iwannabeavoiceactor.com. And he's an avid Halloween yard creator and bug photographer. Please join me in welcoming Dee Bradley Baker.
Thank you, President Whitaker, for your gracious reception of me. Thank you, class of 2026. Hello, 2026. How are you today? Now, brace yourselves because I'm about to reveal something that is quite unbelievable. I am a time traveler. 40 years ago, I sat where you do right now, full of hope in my cap and gown, yet unsure of what to expect as I stepped into the real world. It was as if the Wizard of Oz had handed me my certificate and patted me on the back with a "well done, my son," and sent me on my way. Oh, I felt lost. I felt excited. I felt vulnerable. Outfitted with nothing but a piece of paper, my diploma, and a question burning in my heart.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Well, you're supposed to go into the world and...
But what do I do? What do I do with this?
Well, today, after 40 years of time traveling, to you, I have the answer. I have traveled here to deliver it today because I am a time traveler, and that's what we do. But you are also travelers in time. You've been practicing for 4 years because the thing is that you've been doing here, reading, is itself the oldest form of time travel ever invented. With a book, you can slip sideways in space and backwards in time. You can inhabit the minds of people long dead, walk through landscapes that no longer exist, hold conversations with thinkers who lived thousands of years ago. Socrates, Mary Shelley, Frederick Douglass, Lao Tzu, they're all talking, and you know how to talk with them. Most creatures on this planet are locked into moving forward through time only, but a reader is not. On top of that, you have spent 4 years in conversation, real conversation with three-dimensional human beings, just as we have been evolved to do. Learning to hold an idea in suspension, to test it, to push it, to let worthy opposing ideas strengthen it. Thinking, it turns out, is not a solo sport, it's dialogue, and you've been training for that. You leave here today not just with a degree, but with a toolkit for navigating time. Now, I should warn you, I am also a voice actor, a shapeshifter of sorts, if you will. I spent 4 decades rather, making a living by being many things that I am not. I have been a duck.
So long, Screwy, singing St. Louis.
I've been a clone trooper. In my book, experience outranks everything. I have been a platypus, which, in case you're curious, sounds like this. The most amount of money for the least amount of work you will find in making platypus sounds. A cinnamon bun on Adventure Time.
And Fancy Pants Squilliam. I'm filthy, stinking rich, Squiddy.
I've been a flying bison. A flying lemur. A flying monkey. A box troll. And countless alien creatures. I tell you this not to show off, well, maybe a little. Maybe a little bit. But every single one of these creatures and characters in my career, they track back to the education that I received here at this school, nestled at the foot of those mountains over there. It came together in ways that I could not have predicted or have planned, which is part of what I'm here to talk to you about today. Your time traveling, students of 2026, graduates, begins today. The next 40 years, the great middle chapter of your life, is a tidal wave already rushing to meet you. You cannot see the future, but I can, because I am a time traveler. Here is what I know. First off, the thing I want you to hear, I want you to think about very carefully, it's not going to go the way you think it will. You may have a picture in your mind of how your life is going to unfold, a career, maybe a city, a location, people, family, ups and downs, things that you imagine you'll be doing in 10 years, 20 years. You may have a plan, a well-considered plan, but 40 years of time travel has shown me that your plan is going to be wrong. It's going to be completely and utterly, gloriously, maddeningly wrong because, well, life is indifferent to such plans. But here is the thing, I'm not saying that you're going to be unhappy. You might be extraordinarily happy. I'm not going to say it's going to go badly. You might find it's going better than anything you could have possibly designed. What I am saying is going to be different. Wonderfully, sometimes harrowingly different from anything that you right now are currently picturing. So, you can relax. The illusion of control is just that, it's an illusion. You're not losing anything by letting go of that. When I graduated Colorado College, a philosophy major, lover of German, veteran of choir and improv groups, more plays than I can count, enthusiastic alumnus of invertebrate zoology, I had precisely zero idea of what I was going to do with myself when I emerged into the world. I did not think,
One day I'm going to earn my living making horrible sounds. For James Gunn and George Lucas and Nickelodeon.
oh no. I just kept doing things I was doing at Colorado College. I followed my curiosity, I followed my weird and my fun. My weird, my fun. And my weird and my fun led me somewhere extraordinarily well-tailored to who I am. My major was philosophy, my near minor was German. Neither has anything obviously to do with voice acting aliens or fancy squids, and yet the analytic tools from philosophy have come in handy every time I break down a script. The grammatical precision I absorbed from Germany and German, that surfaces every time I parse a line of dialogue. Nothing that you love ever fades. It just may reemerge sideways later in your life, the way this education tends to deliver its gifts. The second thing I want to bring up is you're stepping into a world that is changing faster than any generation in human history has experienced. In my 40 years of time travel, I have watched the world transform in ways that each time was genuinely unimaginable beforehand. Personal computers went from a room-sized machine owned by corporations to something that you hold in the palm of your hand. The internet got invented. Cell phones, social media, which nobody was prepared for. September 11th happened. The world rearranged itself around a morning. The pandemic shut down the entire planet. Now artificial intelligence is ramping up to rewrite the rules of what human beings do and why. Each of these was a sudden blast, a fire hose, a seismic event. Each appeared suddenly, it hit hard, and transformed everything. Each happened since I attended school here 40 years ago, and I remember a time before all of these. And extrapolating from this, I can see the pace of change that only accelerates. What you will face will be more disruptive, more surprising, more world-altering than anything that I have so far described. You'll look back on today and say,
Oh, Martha, weren't those simpler times? The simpler times of 2026?
now, I'm not saying this to alarm you or to frighten you. I'm saying because of what it implies. The most valuable thing that you can carry into your next 40 years is not a specific skill set or specialization. The landscape of what matters will keep shifting under your feet, and a narrow specialization can become a trap as fast as it had become an asset. The incoming tidal wave of change calls for something more fundamental, more flexible, more durable, and the good news is you already have it. First, a confession and a reassurance. I did not arrive at my life in a straight line. I zigzagged. After leaving Colorado College, I spent roughly 12 years trying on careers like hats that I wasn't sure fit or not. Stand-up comedy, children's theater, improv, theme parks, sketch comedy. I was at various points a mall Santa, a singing telegram, a game show co-host, which was in fact my first voiceover job on a show called Legends of the Hidden Temple. Yes, I was a rock god. That game show brought me to Los Angeles, and somewhere in the middle of this magnificent zigzag, something clicked. I realized that Hollywood needed creatures and monsters. Cartoons, video games, and films were full of animals and aliens and beasts that needed voices. And I, with my lifelong fascination with animals, my memory of sitting in invertebrate zoology class at Colorado College, delighted with things with far too many legs, my years of live theater and improv, my deep love of monster movies, and my apparently inexhaustible willingness to make strange sounds and appear idiotic, was precisely the person for this kind of job. It took me 12 years to find this very weird career, and for it to find me. 12 years of experiments, failed attempts, and dead ends. I want you to think of your 20s, all the uncertainty, the frustrations, the false starts that you are about to encounter, not as wasted time. None of that is wasted time. It is decanting, like a bottle of wine that needs to breathe before it has reached its full flavor and is ready to be enjoyed. Such things take time. You're gathering intel, you're course correcting, you're sharpening the crosshairs. Even backsliding is essential in the end of your life's progress. The sweet spot, the place where you're going to find the happy career living, is at the intersection of what you love doing and what you are good at. Not just one or the other, it's got to be both. When those two things overlap, then you've found something worth building your life around. What you love and what you're good at. That's the sweet spot. Through the active trial and error of my 20s, I found a career that I liked and that liked me back. It takes time to bring this kind of clarity to your life. I didn't plan it. I didn't find it by planning. I found it the same way I found everything else here, by actively following what interested me, staying curious and remaining open to surprise. Oh, and by meeting my wife, Michelle, while doing children's theater. She was the princess, I was Rumpelstiltskin, and she deserves a lot of credit for how well this path has gone and played out for me and for us. Thank you, Michelle. Mwah. Now, I want to tell you a story about a pivotal moment in my career because it is, at its heart, a story about how my liberal arts education helped me and brought my life to me. Some years into my time in Los Angeles, there was an audition for a French fish. I believe the fish's name was Francois. I know it may sound weird, auditioning for a French fish, but for me it's just another day in Hollywood. A new animated series was being developed, and there was a character, a fish, written as French. The casting note said, French fish. Every voice actor who came in that day brought in their best French fish. Excellent French fish, many of them. I walked in and read it as a German fish. Why? Because at Colorado College, I had genuinely fallen in love with the German language. The philosophers, Nietzsche, Schopenhauer, Wittgenstein, the whole wacky bunch. German fluency had not seemed useful to me at the time. It seemed fun. And from years of improv and saying yes and building on what a scene gives you, I had absorbed a deep instinct that the unexpected choice, the one that comes from deep within, is always more compelling than the safely obedient one. I booked the role. The character, Klaus Heisler, a German-accented goldfish in a fishbowl, became a principal on Fox's American Dad, now in its 21st consecutive season with our 400th episode airing in September. A role that has become the cornerstone of my professional life. But the story isn't really about a career win. When the producers hesitated after we made that pilot, the first episode, they floated the idea of me re-auditioning as the French fish they originally wanted. I said no. Firmly, confidently, I told them that if they wanted a French fish, there were other brilliant voice actors who could do a marvelous French fish. But I had brought them my best, my most authentic, the funniest offer that I had to give. One that came from an idiosyncratic part deep inside of me, and I wasn't going to walk it back because I loved what I made. I held my ground because I knew who I was. I had given them the best offer that I had. That confidence, that clarity, that willingness to trust and stand by what bubbles up from the idiosyncratic wells of your own enthusiasm, that is what your education here has been quietly building in you. So, let me tell you what you actually carry away from here today, because it's real and it has nameable parts. Number one, a flexible, energized mind. The next 40 years will throw things at you that you do not expect and that do not even exist yet. A mind trained to find change interesting rather than threatening, to make unexpected connections, to hold complexity without flinching, is the most durable multi-tool that you can own. You have been training that here. Two, knowing who you are. Know thyself, some old guy in sandals once said. You've spent 4 years excavating yourself, asked by books, professors, the block plan, the people around you, who are you and what do you actually think? That question kept alive is a compass that works on any terrain. Three, knowing what you care about. Not what you're supposed to care about, what actually moves you. What makes you stay up at night? What makes you angry? What you'd work on for free? I cared about movie monsters, about the strangeness of living things. I took invertebrate zoology for fun. And 40 years later, I was voicing Eagly, a superhero's sidekick eagle for James Gunn's Peacemaker. The fuel of enthusiasm burns across decades. 4, knowing what you love to do. Follow the lights. I didn't study German for it to be useful. It lit up something inside of me. Those enthusiasms that seem impractical, those obsessions without obvious payoff, follow them anyway. They animate you and eventually lead somewhere that you want to go, somewhere you could not have found with a map. Shouldn't your life lead where you want it to go? 5, knowing who you love to work with. The theater taught me this, and improv made it unforgettable. Your job on stage is not to make yourself look good. Your job is to make others look good. Serve the story, say yes, build on what is given. Improv is not just a performance philosophy, it's a life philosophy. And it makes you an invaluable collaborator, which is what almost all meaningful work requires, actually. 6, seeing yourself as a charged battery. This is my personal credo, and I offer it to you. I don't think of myself as hired to perform a specific task. I think of myself as hired because I have a really good opinion, an energized mind, and the ability to be plugged into almost any creative problem and make it work better. That's not arrogance, that's a liberal arts graduate who knows what they bring, a charged battery. Own that. Walk into every room ready to power whatever the room needs. 7, a habit of doing what you love, not just professionally or for money, although you can do that too, that's important, but doing what you love as a practice of keeping your life battery charged. You'll find a career, but never stop being an amateur, someone who does things for no other reason than you love doing them. I maintain a website on macro photography of insects, on making my Halloween yard, and another about becoming a voice actor and a creative person. And I put that all out there for free because I like it, and it turns me on, and it's fun, and it's just making something that I like. I learned at CC that creativity is not a gift, it's a habit. Keep making things, keep feeding your mind, keep collaborating. Finish the job, take your bow, strike the set, and show up ready and curious for whatever comes next. In closing, the Buddha knew it, the Stoics knew it, every wisdom tradition that has survived long enough to be worth reading has understood it. Change is the only constant. You cannot stop it, you cannot negotiate with it, you cannot plan your way around it. You can only surf it. And you, liberal arts graduates of Colorado College Class 2026, you have been handed a time-traveling surfboard. Lucky you, because Colorado College understands that a mind trained to be curious, open, and actively engaged is the most practical advantage in life. The fire hose of change isn't a threat to that kind of mind, it's an invitation. The waters ahead, oh, they will be strange. Strange in ways that no one here can predict, including me, your humble time-traveling servant from a previous century. Doors that you were counting on may never open, but others that you never suspected will. The tides of time will bring things your way that do not yet have a name for. And you, with your flexible minds, your particular enthusiasms, your hard-won sense of who you are and what you love, and who you love to work alongside, you are ready. Not because you know what's coming, but because you know how to ride it. The floodgates of time today open to you. So hop on your board and let's go surfing! Congratulations, graduating class of 2026. Mwah. I'll see you back here in 40 years after more time traveling and we'll compare notes. Farewell!
So long! Woohoo!
All right, buddy. Christopher Benoit's commitment to walk alongside systemically marginalized communities became apparent as a student in the first course I taught at Colorado College. Following his graduation in 2003, Chris accompanied genocide witnesses in Guatemala and worked in Mexico defending communities confronting devastating mining practices, leading him to law school and to practice in El Paso, Texas. Benoit and community partners founded a worker-led organization leading to more just wage theft laws locally and in the state. As border enforcement and the criminalization of immigrants intensified, Chris's practice changed. Benoit's Freedom of Information Act litigation uncovered surveillance of human rights lawyers in the border region, earning him and his client the Society of Professional Journalists Sunshine Award in 2022. His work exposing horrendous conditions in detention centers in collaboration with the ACLU of New Mexico led to litigation that shed light on the truth behind the death by suicide of a young man at a private facility with documented critical safety failures. Recently, Benoit garnered national attention, securing one of the first federal habeas wins challenging the unlawful detention of a DACA recipient, while also forcing the first evidentiary hearing on the government's use of the Alien Enemies Act, winning release for a family facing deportation to El Salvador's notorious Secut prison. Hell yeah. This guy's pretty amazing. As threats to democracy multiply and surveillance of activism intensify, Benoit has worked to ensure robust defense for immigrant rights organizations facing criminalization. At the same time, Chris has maintained his connection to the college, providing valuable guidance and support to the Colorado College Social Action Institute that prepares students to engage with critical social justice issues in the U.S. Southwest. Benoit exemplifies the applicability of a liberal arts education in service of building community and power for vulnerable populations, constructing a more equitable and just world. It is with great honor, Madam President, that I present Christopher Benoit for the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
By action of a committee of faculty and the trustees, and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you, Chris Benoit, the degree of Doctors of Law, honoris causa, and admit you to all rights and responsibilities pertaining to this degree. As a token of this honor, I ask that you be vested with the hood appropriate to the degree, and I present you with this diploma. At Commencement, we not only celebrate our graduates, but also the contributions of our faculty. This year, 9 faculty members are retiring after years of dedicated service to Colorado College. Congratulations and much gratitude to Lynn Fitzhugh, Senior Lecturer in Education, 8 years of service. Rick Furtak, Associate Professor of Philosophy, 23 years of service. Claire Oberon Garcia, Professor of English, 38 years of service. Eb Grace, Associate Professor of Political Science, 33 years of service. Hong Zhang, Professor of Chinese in the Department of Chinese, German, Italian, Japanese, and Russian Studies, 33 years of service. Jonathan Lee, Professor of Philosophy, 34 years of service. Carol Neal, Professor of History, 46 years of service. Tricia Waters, Professor of Psychology, 35 years of service. And Sean Womack, Professor of Theater and Dance, 15 years of service. And in memoriam, Dwana McKay, Associate Professor Emerita of Race, Ethnicity, and Migration Studies, 10 years of service. Please join me in thanking these dedicated faculty members and all they've done for Colorado College. Colorado College awards the Master of Arts in Teaching to graduates who are becoming teachers in the licensure program and to those becoming dyslexia specialists, providing therapy-level reading intervention for children with dyslexia. Colorado College is proud of its long-standing commitment to preparing teachers, and we are proud of these teacher scholars who will serve as leaders in K-12 education. To our graduating MAT students, on behalf of the college and the faculty, we offer congratulations and support for your important work.
Will the candidates for the degree and Master of Arts in Teaching please stand? Madam President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree Master of Arts in Teaching.
By action of the faculty, the Board of Trustees concurring, and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree Master of Arts in Teaching and admit you to all rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining to this degree. As a token of your accomplishments, I present your diploma and ask that you be vested with the hood appropriate to your degree.
Will the candidates please present themselves to receive the diplomas? Kristen Marie Atkinson. Healy Elizabeth Bledsoe. Cecily Jane Covington. Macy Helen Curry. Lauren Davis. Sam Amarie Delaney. Taya Marie Holmes. Paige Pearson Kale. Jaden Harrison Kirby. Susily Marcos. Macy Evans McCauley. Beverly Ann Popovich. Kate Siebert. Alyssa Sorensen. Tina Jean Stevens. Isabella Brooke Takach. Those who are to receive the degree Master of Arts in Teaching in absentia are listed in the commencement program. Now, would the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Arts please stand? Madam President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Arts, including those who are to receive the bachelor's degree with honors.
By action of the faculty, the Board of Trustees concurring, and by virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree, Bachelor of Arts, and admit you to all rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining to this degree. As a token of your accomplishments, I present your diploma.
Will the candidates please present themselves to receive their diplomas? Royce Thomas Hinojosa, President. Eric Agard. Claire Margaret Ackerman. Sophie Addison. Jacob William Aldrich, summa cum laude. Anna Jocelyn Alexander. Margaret Elizabeth Alex, summa cum laude. Sadie Almgren. Conrad Beck Anderson. Linnea Anderson. Nicholas William Anderson, summa cum laude. Shay Anderson. William Anderson, summa cum laude. Kennedy Brighton Andrews. Hope Ngotti. Katie Ray Weaver Arnold. Alex Ernie. Claire Babcock. Olivia Rose Bagan. Callaway Gwyn Barba. Allison Dode Barker. Jack Rabbit Larrabee Barnes, magna cum laude. Felix Thorson Battle. Caroline Bay, magna cum laude. Scott Beams, cum laude. Grace Coulter Bean. Mariposa Elizabeth Bean. Michael Henry Benin. Orion Semikoglu, cum laude. Emily Anna Bennett. Galilea Berton Aku. Luke Powers Best. Sana Baku. Catherine Marie Bakes, cum laude. Andrew Bashada. Kai Bismo. Quinn Blavas. Eliza Blanning. Sophia Rose Bograd. Lucio Clemente Bolleteri. Noah Max Book. Ethan Brooks Boast. Theodore Gareth Bratz. Anne Bradford. Nicholas Scott Bradley. Isabel Frances Bragg, cum laude. William Davis Bryce. Charlotte Riley Brown. Davis Brown. Sean Sebastian Brown. Timothy Robert Brown. Nico Brubaker. Kofi Alejandro Christensen Bruce. Ryan Carter Brush. Sarah G. Bookman. Joseph Bullock. Megan Birch. Camden Thomas Burke. Abby Burnham, magna cum laude. Tucker William Burr. Vitaly Capellan. Talia Adara Cardin, summa cum laude. Samuel Goldberg Carr. Andrea Castaneda. Ethan Castet. Sabra Sofia Catalano. Elisa Cervantes. Elsa Rose Chadwick, cum laude. Trenton Jameson Chalik, magna cum laude. Kaylee Jolly Cheng. Sarang Chari, summa cum laude. Alicia Christine Chavez. Theo Cherry. Hannah Scarlett Cho. Osiel Emilio Sime. Julian Arden Clark. Bridger McLeod Close. Jillian Marie Coleman, summa cum laude. Sarah Collier. Charlotte Savoy Combe. Audrey Johnson Combs, summa cum laude. Luana Silvera Cooper. Fidelia Cosgrove. Evan John Cote. Andrew Sean Coyle. Willow Jean Craighead. Katie Ruth Craven, cum laude. Connor Cronk. Samantha Curry. Frances Elizabeth Kinsman Curtis. Griffin Kelly Cusack. Elizabeth Reed Cutler. Sam Daly. Adele Davis. Edmund Jacob Davis. Jonathan Javon Davis. Senna Ruth Dawson. Maya Christina Devante, magna cum laude. Julia Anna Decker. Noah Adam Deitch. Tora Delaney. Louise Rose DeLarco. Emmeline Derry. James Hunter Dole. Avi Diamond, summa cum laude. Eli Dixon. Riley Chase Deal. Ella Lauren Dell. Aiden Oliver Disney. Charlie Dobson. Mariah Dominguez. Alice Margaret Donahue. Lucas Jack Donahue. Luke Donaldson Reed. Thomas Carrier Doran. Carolyn Dormady. Abigail Hampton Duke Moe. Elizabeth Jean Duncan. Isabella Ebling. Sophie Efron. Pete Eisenheim. Liam Cami Blake Elmore. Lauren Michelle Elsie. Ashley Entwistle. Grace Ursfeld O'Brien. Michael Alfarius Esquivel. Elise Evans. Kitty Evans. Tor. Corinne Cynthia Foreman. Jack Franklin. Ella Margot Fullerton. Noah Furseth. Hillary Galley. Brisa Nadine Garcia. Claudia Isabel Garcia. Mason Brown Gardner. Lila Garfield. Asa Gautreau. Grace Margaret Gessel. Uma Gamiri. Lila Gilmer. Emily Gish. Haley Elena Getting, cum laude. Omar Gomez Rodriguez. Veronica Gonzalez Perez. Brian F. Gonzalez. Abigail McCauley Goodfried. Samuel Jackson Goodner. Meryl Goodwin, cum laude. Leo Gordon. Kylie McKenna Gosney. Abigail Elizabeth Goulis. Amira Grawi. Justin Daniel Gray and to his family, Justin Alpucci, summa cum laude. Lillian Marie Gray. Christopher William Grusho, summa cum laude. Kira Marie Gupta, magna cum laude. Brooks Haynen.
This one came back. Clayton Scott didn't.
You want to put it at the end?
Sure. He's on the stage already.
Is he the next one? Yeah. Okay, we just do that right now.
Clayton Scott Dickman. He was late.
Brenda. I cannot hear you on the.
I know.
So you just have to come up. Righty. Ready for part 2. Clayton Scott Dittman. Jacob Allen Hams, summa cum laude. Ben Hansen Kaplan. Rayleigh Harris. Clara Hartman. Sophia Hart, cum laude. Haviland May Haskell, cum laude. McKenna Raquel Hatch. Ian Halva Radloff. Ruby May Heathman, magna cum laude. Malia Josefina Hewitt. Addison Walkley Hill. Jack Hills. Dakota Hinman, summa cum laude. Owen Hodgson. Alexander Hooper. Lucia Hoskins. Christine Howe. James Edward Hughes. Bradley T.S. Humble. Sarah Echinose. Anders Ingo. Aliana Istanbulu cum laude. Nori Ito. Keiko Autumn Ito, magna cum laude. Marina Stora Jacker. Nadia Marie Jackson, cum laude. Peregrine Aria Tracy Yeager. Jeremy Louis Jaretsky, cum laude. Emery's Corey Jenkins. Taylor Kiani Jenkins. Avery Janice Johnson. Rakeem Zion Johnson. Liza Jonas, cum laude. Emma Jane Jones. Michaela Cabot. Corinne Elsie Callio. Heidi Nobles Kaplan. Jillian Kaplan. Rex Hassel Karjan. Ella Kamonis. Aiden William Katz. Miles Marshall Katzen. Alyssa Grace Kawala. Robert Oliver Keeley. Paikea Kelly. Caitlin Kelly. Rowan Kempen, cum laude. Tori Kende. Elizabeth Ann Kirsten. Rafiul Alam Khan. Josie Lynn Peely Curley. Clara Rose Brandel Clausen. Axel Comperins. Andreas Cosmo. Madeline Colgate. McKenna Deanne Colson. Ella Simone Kramer. Lucy Julia Kramer. Brad Kramer. Marin Crow. James Coons. Eleanor Lacase. Samuel Markham Lane, cum laude. Maya Tom Lapkus. Alexis Lee. Sean Lee. Ellen Layton. Rihanna Lizy, summa cum laude. Zoe Isadora Lisak. Emma Leslie. Brett Eva Lavan, magna cum laude. Sasha Francis Levine. Ethan Sawyer Levy. Nathan Zachary Levy. Aya Rose Payne Lewis. Maxine Page Lewis. Neil Lee, cum laude. Jade Lichtenstein. Erin Kathleen Liedeker, cum laude. Linnea Judeanne Lindahl, summa cum laude. Beck Lindholm. Clara Frances Smith Lippert. Javon Lavelle Lipsy. Sophia Lisco, cum laude. Charles Peter Livaditis. Paolo Lajurvo. Eli Long. Saharalita Love, magna cum laude. Aiden Maudlin Lowe, magna cum laude. Mary Holland Patterson Lunsford. James Lyons. Lee MacArthur, cum laude. Russell J. McFarland. Kaya April Macko. Trevor Mackles. Burke McLean. Charles Michael Madden. Andrew Magana. Olive Maharam. Charles Travers Meyer. Carly Malott. Camilla Jane Mancini, cum laude. Kiana Sky Marks, summa cum laude. Carolus Margis. Ruben Margolis. Charles Paul Marks. Paige Martin. Diego Alejandro Martinez. Ella Matucci. Caden Emberico. Felix Archibald McCall. Alexandra Lynn McCarthy. Christopher Walker McCormick. William McCracken, summa cum laude. Alexander Leonie McCullough. Owen Jerome McCann, cum laude. Leo Patrick McGarrigan. Roar McGuire. Maximus Barnabas Previn McHenry. Aidan McLean. Graham Oliver John McWeeny, summa cum laude. Carter Melton. Stephen Menetres. Meridian Gwydion Mensch. Annabelle Warren Meyer. Tyler Elizabeth Milkey. Eden Rowe Miller. Catherine Grace Louisa Miller. Nashawn Wynn Miller. Owen Mix. Claire Elizabeth Lieutenant Moe. Lauren Jewel Moore. Yvonne Morales. Sarah Moreau. Oliver Lee Strauss Moscow. Allison Keita Mueller-Hickler. Lola Mantu. Ozan Urme Muratoglu. Emilia Murdoch. Langley Taylor Marie, cum laude. Era Musa. Stacy Machocho Matrachia. William Jacob Myers, cum laude. Joshua Na. Mila Naumovska. Britt Nerat, magna cum laude. Grace Dwin. Serena Lynn Nguyen, magna cum laude. Margaret Nicholson. Thomas Nielsen. Asha Nofsiger. Nancy Claire Norfleet. Caleb Louis Novak. Catherine Wenzel O'Connor. Elizabeth O'Neill. Elizabeth Maeve Oakes. Mackenzie Chenya O. Adelaide Lynn Oberding, magna cum laude. Theo Olia. Annie O'Neill. Harold Oppenheim. Avery Christine Ortner. Francisco Ortega. Joanna Lynn Oster, cum laude. Haley Outwater. Vladimir Raj S. Palmer. Lillian Parsons. Kenna Patel. Brendan Paul. Vanessa Karina Perez Gomez, cum laude. Rachel Grace Phillips. Lindsay Elizabeth Popio. Eowyn Myron Mylor Poplovsky. Janea Porter. Hadid Foveda Morales. Leo Donahue Priestman. Harris Goodwin Proctor. Will Pruitt Herbert. Cooper Walton Kochauchi, cum laude. Cleo Quiltavox. Gray Rager. Mohan Raghunath, cum laude. Melissa Ramirez. Oliver Ramirez. Cassidy Recker. Ella Reese Clausen, summa cum laude. Della Han Raiko. Sasha Renton. Robert Valancourt Rappening, summa cum laude. Delianis Reyes. Kendall Ray Reynolds. Mei-Chi Morgan Richardson. Amanda Ron. Melanie Robertson. Karina Averill Rockart, summa cum laude. Benjamin Adam Rodriguez. Ella Jenny Rowe, cum laude. Madeline Kathleen Rosenbaum, cum laude. Elliot Phil Rossman. Ethan Pomerantz Rothschild. Magdalene Celeste Rowley Lang. Fiona Rucker, cum laude. Ben James Douglas Ruddock. Michael Kane Ruvenock. Claire Hannah Rustine. Rose Ryan. Daniel Khalees Chapman Ryans. Kenneth James Sakaro. Emma Egan Salem. Andrew Ichiro Samashima, cum laude. Luke Santos. Jackson Wentworth Sawyer. Willa Echo Schentler, summa cum laude. Caroline Rose Schlehuber. Cassidy Amber Schnaufer. Andrew Schreiner. Ellie Schwab. Dominic Schwein, magna cum laude. Annalise Selby. Jim Sellers. Yosef Tesfaye Sengal. Hope Joying Shea. Henry Robert Sheridan, summa cum laude. Dax McAllister Sherwood. Nathan Shields, cum laude. Corey Allen Shively II. Noe Shore. Jack Shores. Emmett Schumann. Emily Rose Silva. Malia Francis Silverstein. Megan Simonson, summa cum laude. Owen Frank Simpson. Felipe Singer. Satosh Singh. Asta Lee Sequoia Shogren Wihara. Benjamin Michael Slater. Catherine Mackenzie Smella, summa cum laude. Luke Patrick Smith. Emma Nithago Snow, cum laude. Asha Quinn Soni. Maddie Huang Spark. Bobby Spence. Tobin Chandler Spiller. Owen Kostas Stefanakos. Luke Stefanski, cum laude. Karen J. Strickland. Lev Sugarman Brosen, cum laude. Lily Swift. Roman Tocelli. Etaline Tapia Andrade, cum laude. Sky Rangel Theodosopoulos, cum laude. Elizabeth Maria Thompson, summa cum laude. Grant William Thompson. Josephine Sienna Thune, summa cum laude. Asher Samuel Tort Teraday. Alexandra Tornelli, magna cum laude. Melissa Torres. Amy C. Townsend. James Brian Treadwell. Victoria Blair Trimble. Olivia Lois Tuckman. Caroline Christine Turner. Charles Ira Turner. Senya Urbam, cum laude. Fiona Rose Vale. Alondra Valdez. Oliver Conley Van Linder. Kirsten Varallo. David Batsis. Nathan Luke Verschure. Kelsey Newsom Viadro. Sophie Ilana Volkenbaum. Wes Vorley. Cole Wagner. Kelsey Grace Wakefield. Elizabeth Walton Waterfall. Nate Watson. Catherine Adrienne Nehaswa. Olivia Rose Weinstein. Colden Avery Winrick. Elizabeth Suzanne White, cum laude. Robert Henry Whittemore. Toby Wilkinson. Caitlin Kennedy Wilkes, magna cum laude. Andrea Will. Allison Cole Williams, magna cum laude. Joshua Amir Jones Williams. Skyla Harrison Williams. Zoe Mae Williamson. Rebecca Leah Wilner. Abigail Alona Wilson. Brock Aaron Wilson. Eleanor Levna Wilson, summa cum laude. Jennings Atlas Wilson. Eleanor Worth. Ethan Wobis, cum laude. Nalani Alaska Wood. Brianna Yanez Castellon. Gus Yar. Ella Yolin, cum laude. Ada Tritton Youngstrom. Beckham Itadal. Jake Zas. Yi Han Chu. Emma Thorne Sukodi. Those who are to receive the degree Bachelor of Arts in Essentia are listed in the commencement program.
What will accomplish fair?
said I didn't have to put my hat back on, so that's good. Just one quick thing before I start, because no one will believe this happened. Just gonna do a quick selfie. 2026! You want to know this? No, she doesn't. That was so stupid. It is an absolute honor today to speak to the incredibly talented, creative, and driven class of 2026, each of whom could be my child. And I'm sure you are thinking, of course, who is this old dude speaking to you today? I assure you, I turn 21 every time I'm stepping back on campus. And if you knew me my senior year, you probably would understand why Colorado College doesn't invite me to do these things often. But I hope when you come back to campus, you too feel enlivened with the same tiger spirit that you feel today. Sorry, that's a typo, spirits. I saw what you were doing last night. I walked through campus. I will try to keep this brief since I'm one of the last people standing between you and the, but my name is Ben Shellhorn. I am from the class of 2004, the best class ever, at least according to me. 2026, you're welcome to prove me wrong. I am a theater major turned lawyer, so very liberal arts. And I am here on behalf of the Alumni Association Council to welcome you to the Colorado College alumni community just as soon as you do the thing. Your CC journey began when you chose to come here, and I hope it flourished while you were here, that you were challenged, that you impacted communities near and far, that you created art, maybe scored a goal, or in case, at least for one of you, prevented several, and that you had a great time doing it all, but your journey doesn't end today. Those experiences, that impact, and that fun, will continue. Your CC journey will continue as an alum for the rest of your life. And the Alumni Association Council is so excited to see where that journey takes you and the legacy that you will leave on this world and a part of this community in the years to come. I hope it is as weird and wonderful as mine has been. And now I'm gonna go off script for a second, sorry. There have been several of the graduate students, or graduates, who have impacted my life. And I won't mention Lucas, Leo, Emrys, or Felipe by name, just so they have plausible deniability, but I just want to say thank you for coming into my world. All right, let's get this over with. Let me stop being that guy that's in your way from doing that. And say that on behalf of the AAC, welcome to the Colorado College alumni community, and congratulations. And with that, now only one person remains between you and the I am pleased to introduce your student body president, Royce Iniosa.
Okay, let's do this thing. I'm gonna turn my tassel. You're gonna follow while I do it. Pretty simple. Sweet. Take it to the left. Hold.
So graduates, there's one last thing we need to do, and that is so that we can send you out, all of your family and friends, faculty and staff, alums and trustees, can send you forth with our love and knowing that you are being held in your highest good. So hear these words. So go now bravely and boldly, saying hello to the possibilities flowing freely from this ending into beginnings, as you embrace fear as an opening to courage, curiosity as a pathway to bridge building, and compassion as a radical and transformative practice of love, trusting yourself and your inner knowing as your voice, all of your voices, enliven the world with the sounds of hope. You are ready, Tigers, so go now empowered and with blessing. Congratulations, class of 2026.